district tonight simultaneously for that vote.
I just wanted to know because I told everybody if anybody can do it.
Yeah.
Lynn was going. She simultaneously she will be at all 22.
That's right.
So I know you got your own agenda, but you got to talk about those meetings because I'd like to know how did they plan up coming all of them in the same day? Was that planned? That was pre-planned?
Yeah, that's part. I think that's part of the law. Yeah, I think that's how they do it. Yeah, exactly. All 22 of them meet at the same time and cast their vote on the administrative budget for BOCES.
We need 22 people with 22 microphones.
That's right. That's right. Either that or we have to phone it in.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, how we do it is a trade secret.
That's it. We're gonna dig up the information for you.
But for people who don't, do you remember what BOCES is?
Yeah.
Questar
kinda.
3
Questar
BOCES
3,
is what our local. It's actually Columbia, Greene, and Rensselaer counties.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cooperative of all the districts in those 3 counties. They pool their money for administrative. That's what they're actually the vote. One of the votes tonight is on the administrative budget for BOCES. They all chip in and help pay for their central administration. That's around I think 4.2 million this year of the administrative budget. The total BOCES budget, which nobody else votes on, is 63 million, plus or minus.
Ouch.
Yeah, and but BOCES is. I think most people, when they hear the name BOCES, they think of vocational, education.
Mm-hmm.
But they also offer other forms of services. They lately, and when I say lately, I would say within the past 10 to 20 years, they've broadened their support of local districts with things like very often when you do a superintendent search, they offer a headhunter service where they manage the search. There are things like web site maintenance and creation that they'll do, and districts, member districts pay for those services, but the hitch is that anywhere from, depending on the year, depending on the district, anywhere from like 75 to 85% of that is reimbursable by the state in the coming year. So that's and BOCES, the BOCES superintendent is a regional superintendent. So that person has it's part of the network, and they have part of the control, or should I say oversight, not control.
Yeah, because I was getting ready to ask you. So how much juice does he have over the other superintendent?
He has some. I mean, he's exercised some of that in the recent past. 2006, Jim Baldwin came in with a group in the Hudson City School District and did an extensive review at the request of the one of the deputy commissioners in the state ed department. He does have. He's in an advisory position on some points, but yeah, he has some juice. He can get you into trouble or get you out, depending on the circumstances.
Well, he got control of them purse strings. He got some juice.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So, yeah, so that's happening tonight. That's always, and it's always, it throws everybody off because it rarely happens on a regular meeting night. So it's on Tuesday night throughout all 3 counties. So we'll have that information tomorrow on that final vote in the morning. And of course, board races are underway. Big stuff. Yesterday, for all central school districts, that was their deadline for petitions at 5 p.m. That's actually most of the districts in both Columbia and Greene counties. The exception to that is the Hudson City School District, which is a small city district, so their deadline is May 1st at 5 p.m. There are actually some considerable races. I think, let's see, I'm just looking at my list here. The average seems to be 3 seats open.
Wow.
On most of the districts that are in our area. The top one, though, is Chatham. They've got 4 seats open. And those are 3-year terms. Boards of education can be anywhere between 5 and 9 people, and they serve anywhere from 3 to 5 years.
Now, last year I asked you because this is one of those things that I understand but I can't explain why everyone, not just the parents of children who go to school, should be concerned about the budget and who's on the board.
Well, I mean, it's part of how your community runs. I mean, the Board of Education does have the ability to levy tax.
There you go. There you go.
On you, and
That's
for
the T word.
For those of us in New York State, that is the majority of your tax dollar that you pay goes to schools.
There you go. So that's it, folks. You see people who who are my age, and my grandchildren are in this school district, and our eyes wax over when people start talking about the Board of Education. But it has an effect on you directly.
Well, that's right. Both directly in that regard, but also when you look at your community and how your community functions. I'm one of those people who believes that the school is at the heart of any community.
Absolutely.
And it has everything to do with sustainability. It has everything to do with sort of general quality of life issues. A school is a very, very important part of our life.
Hey, if you're one of those people who drive around the village in the afternoon, when the kids don't have any place to go after high school, you'll know it. Yeah. Because you'll be slamming on your brakes.
That's right.
So it is a part of the community. The school makes up the community.
Yeah.
And of course the school has our most vulnerable citizens.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So, yeah, people should I hope that we can provide information for people so that they have some sense of what's going on in their individual districts, in the board races, and get engaged. And speaking of, Carroll-Durham, one of the districts, they've got 3 seats open. Those are 3-year terms. WGXC, in collaboration with the League of Women Voters, is going to do a candidate forum.
Ooh.
May 15th, 6:30 at Carroll Library. We're not sure who will be there yet because, of course, the deadline was at 5 yesterday, so we'll have some sense of how many candidates will be on that ballot. But and the plan is to broadcast it live.
All right, everybody, get your Google calendars up. I just brought mine up.
6:30 p.m. on May 15th.
6:30 p.m. on May 16th.
15.
Bam!
Yeah.
I got it. I'm ready.
Yeah, and it will follow the standard league format. Each of the candidates will have the opportunity to introduce themselves, say a little bit about their background and their interest in running, and then there will be questions from the audience.
All right. I'm feeling that. Candidates Forum, May 15th at the Carroll-Durham Library, right?
That's right.
Be there
in that
or
beautiful
be
new
square.
Library. Yeah. And let's see, what else do we have today? Tonight at the Hudson meeting will be current President Peter Moranti's last night. He has resigned from the board effective today. Don't know what that means in terms of leadership going forward. Traditionally, you have a vice president who in this case is Elizabeth Fout, would step into that spot until the end of the current school year, which is June 30th. Board reorganizes as of the start of the new school year, which is July 1st. But it's hard to say what will happen there because that's just the way Hudson is. And anybody who read the newspaper today will see that story from our man, Nathan Mayberg, who is on this computer audit. I don't know if people remember, but way back in the late part of 2012, after the suspension of Tom Gavin, there was a quasi-mysterious authorization for a computer audit. At the time, they were relatively tight-lipped, although you see in the newspaper story, Mayberg says that Moranti told him at the time that it was an audit of all district computers. I know from my own interaction with Mr. Moranti on that point, he told me, he went so far as to tell me that there had been several attempts to breach security in the school system network. And that was the reason for the audit. Well, Mr. Mayberg finally received an invoice from a DC-based company that conducted this audit, and apparently it only audited one computer, and it happened to be the computer that was in Mr. Gavin's office.
Oh, the plot thickens.
Yeah, exactly. So, but there was no other report available on what they found, simply the bill, which was close to $4,000.
Oh, my. And this audit didn't happen to coinky-dinkily come up after they realized that he was sitting at home earning.
Right. Well, that's the other piece of because this, even though it hasn't been on the front page for a while, within the community, this is what people talk about a lot.
Oh, my
and
goodness.
By all accounts, between the legal bills, which I've been told are close to $40,000 as of the beginning of March, plus what they're paying him, in addition to the extra salaries that they're paying the people to fill in the gap, we're probably over $100,000.
He's going on. It's got to be a couple of 2 or 3 months from a year.
Well, he's been out since October.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
So this is so much fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So this, the thick plot, as they say.
Yeah.
Well, so we'll see what happens tonight. I'm sure there will be some conversation around this. Although, if I was on the board or if I was a member of central administration, I wouldn't want to have this conversation at all anytime near a budget vote. But
Because once you discuss the budget, you've got to explain what that big old chunk of money is.
well, and just to put it into perspective, $100,000, $110,000, that's a teaching position and a half, or it could be a point off the tax levy increase.
Or it could be 2 years of financing WGX.
Well, not quite.
Not quite,
Yeah.
but close.
A full year almost.
Oh, we're bad. All right, we better do the disclaimer. This is all Lynn's fault. She started it. Anytime you bring up that Gavin situation, my brain's.
So I would suggest if people haven't read the story that check it out in the Register Star.
And keep your ears to the ground. The voting is coming up, and participate in the election.
That's right. We'll have more. I know that there are propositions on various ballots in addition to the budget and board member elections. So we'll keep you up to date on that in the next week.
All right. Thank you, Lynn. And, of course, you'll be able to tell us all the whatchamacallits from these meetings on next Tuesday.
Absolutely.
Lynn Sloeker bringing us up to date on education. Now, Lynn, I know